Well, thank you for being here. I want to introduce you to the new Republican leadership team. Steve Scalise as our whip, Liz Cheney as our conference chair. We've got vice chair, Mr. Mark Walker, Jason Smith as secretary, Gary Palmer as our policy, and Mr. Tom Emmer is heading up the NRCC. As you see, he's not here because he's already out working to win that majority back. I'm very humbled to have the privilege to be able to serve and lead this conference. I will tell you, our number one goal is to get America continuing moving forward. We serve in a divided government and a divided country. Our goal is to unite us back together again. Our second goal will be make sure we win the majority back. Look, we know the challenge of what we're working on. We wanted to hit the ground running. We know the Democrats have a plan. They want to disrupt, they want to try to impeach, and they want to stall what achievements we've been able to move forward. But we know America is too great for such a small vision. We will work through every state. We know we have our challenges to win back into the suburban areas, and we will do just that. But I truly believe America is and will always be the strongest nation on the face of the earth. Now I want to introduce our newest member of our leadership team, our conference chair, Liz Cheney.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, an honor to serve with this team. I look forward very much to being the conference chair for the House Republicans. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but we have the right policies. And we know that the policies that we put in place in the last Congress are the ones that have created the kind of economic growth, the kinds of national security that we need in this nation. And I would just also say we will take a back seat to no one, neither I will or anybody on this leadership team, when it comes to doing what's right for America's women, for America's minorities, making sure that everybody understands those policies that we put in place are the ones that people care deeply about. So as a mother of 5, I am honored to be here. I'm honored to serve, and I look forward to getting to work, and we're going to absolutely take back this majority. And it's my tremendous honor now to be able to introduce our new minority whip, Mr. Steve Scalise. Thanks.
Thank you, Liz, and congratulations to you, Kevin, and our entire leadership team. It is truly an honor to be elected as the Republican whip, and it's a job I've enjoyed for the last 4 years. And you know, one of the things is I would travel around the country in a lot of swing districts over the last few weeks. People love the fact that we have a booming economy. They see how tremendous this success has been for hardworking families. They're seeing more money in their paychecks. They're seeing their wages go up. But history was working against us in the House, and it caught up to us. And so what we need to do is redouble our efforts. I think one of the things we need to do as a new Republican minority, as we work to earn that majority back, is to do a better job of getting out around the country and let people know what we stand for. Those conservative principles that have been proven to work to get our economy back on track, to help those hardworking families who are counting on us to keep delivering for them. They want to see this economy continue to grow. And by the way, in a lot of those swing districts, you never heard those candidates, those Democrat candidates, talking about obstructing and subpoenas and impeachment. They talked about being pro-life and pro-gun and against Nancy Pelosi, and it's going to be real interesting to see if they keep their word to their voters, and we're going to sure be watching, because the people of this country don't want an obstructive Congress. They want people that are going to work together for the common good to keep this great economic success going, working with a president who has been focused on getting this country back on track. And so as we constitute this new leadership team, we're going to be refocused on our efforts to earn the trust of the American people, to let people know just why these conservative principles are so important to keep a safe and secure America and get the majority back in 2 years.
Mr. Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. It's certainly a privilege to be elected by my peers to vice chair. Our goal in working with Liz is to continue to build bridges and develop relationships into new places and into new communities. You know, over the last several years, it's a very clear distinction. Democratic policies simply have driven millions of more people into poverty. In the last 2 years, Republican policy has lifted more than 4 million people out of poverty. That's our goal, maybe to hear us again for the first time. I look forward to working with this leadership team. Thank you.
Jason Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. It is a great honor to be part of this team with the leadership of Mr. McCarthy. But also, I think it's important to look at the other leadership team. This team right here, the average age of all of us combined is 52 years old. The average age of the top 3 leading candidates on the other side is 78 years old. We're all about new ideas. We're about moving this country forward and new progress. So I'm happy to be part of this team.
Gary Palmer, our new policy committee.
I really appreciate the opportunity to serve the American people in this capacity, and what you see behind me is the team that is going to restore hope for America. And I really believe that our policies and the ideas that we're bringing to the table are what's good for the country, it's what's good for the American people, and I think it's going to be good not only for our economy but for our future. And I am very excited about the opportunity to be a part of this, and we will get the majority back.
Look, as I said, we understand we have a divided government, and we have a divided nation. Our goal is to unite us. This is an opportunity to help continue America to move forward. We're proud of the fact in the last 49 years, our unemployment is at one of its lowest points that it's ever been. We're proud of the fact of the changes we made to the VA, our rebuilding our military and giving our women and men that are serving their largest raise they ever had in 9 years. We're proud of the fact of combating opioids, or ending online human trafficking. But we know our work is not done. We will work with anybody across that aisle if they are there to work to move America forward. That's right. But let me be very clear. If their agenda is simply investigations, impeachment, and not focused on the hardworking American public, we'll be there to defend the American public. We know this is not an easy time, but we know there's an opportunity. I hope you see by us having a leadership election now that this conference is united. It's healthy to have a debate. I want to thank Jim Jordan for running. Jim Jordan and I came into this Congress together. It was one of the smallest Republican classes in the history of Congress. There was only 13 of us. Many believed we could not achieve a majority or move America in the right direction. But in 4 short years, we were able to do that. Yes, we did not win the majority, but we left America a little stronger. Do you realize the discretionary spending that Congress has control over is $13 billion less today than the last time Nancy Pelosi was Speaker? You look at the CBO numbers, we've saved more than $4 trillion for the American public. So we will continue to strive to make America more effective, more efficient, and most importantly, more accountable. I'll take a few questions. Yes?
What went wrong? And can you possibly say that your loss had nothing to do with President Trump?
Listen, history is against us. If you say any president in their first off-year election, on average loses more than 30 seats. Barack Obama lost 63. Anybody who's in that office, the history runs against them. Michael Bloomberg spent more than $100 million. Michael Bloomberg was very effective in defeating a lot of Republican women. You look at Karen Handel, the $3 million he spent there. You look what he did in California. But you know, something changed. History didn't always prove out correctly. Because history says since 1992, anybody who has retired their seat, but it was carried by the other party, Republicans or Democrats, are 0 for 23 in winning that seat. But young Kim, who's the first South Korean-born elected to Congress, is right now winning in California. So no, all of his money didn't defeat all the Republican women. So no, we know we have work cut out for us. We know history worked against us. We know we had challenges in the suburban areas, and we'll be able to work harder to bring that back. Yes?
Does Nancy Pelosi, in winning back the majority, now, does she have, should she be the next Speaker of the House? Do you believe she should?
Well, that's not a question for me. That's a question for her conference. I know her conference wanted to delay that election. I know there are a number of members inside that conference that pledged they would not vote for her. I think that's the only time will tell. I question what their agenda was or what they won on. You cannot just resist. You know, I raised the point about unemployment. In the last 49 years, unemployment has only been below 4% 11 months. But 6 of those 11 months, you just lived through. But not one Democrat voted for that tax bill in the House or in the Senate. I know they want to repeal that. I know they want to remove ICE. I know they want to impeach the president. I just don't think that's the agenda that America wants to see. They want to see us to work together to solve our biggest problems. They want to see that the next century is American century, and we will work with any Democrat that has that same goal.
This question is from Ms. Cheney. You take the same position that your father had as conference chair in 30 years. Can you talk about that a little bit, keeping this in the family?
Well, it's particularly moving, obviously. My father has a real love of this institution, a love of the House of Representatives, and it's a love that I share. This is a wonderful place, and we are here at a moment where we have an opportunity as the leader and the whip and all of our members pointed out to really make a difference, to be in a position where we can take back the majority. And if you look at what we accomplished in the last Congress and you look at how the Democrats have started this one, protesting each other in their offices, I think that men and women all across the political spectrum and all across the country are going to take a look at that and say, you know what, we need the kind of positive economic growth, positive national security improvement we saw in the last Congress, not the kind of chaos we've already begun to see over there. So he told me not to screw it up.
No questions.
All these people and you get 2? That's pretty impressive. You're intimidating them, Katie.
I won't take it from someone else if they want to, but why do you think your conference is more male and more white than it was last time? And the country is changing in the opposite direction. What does that mean for the Republican Party?
Well, the Republican Party has to continue to grow. The youngest woman ever elected to Congress, currently serving, is a woman, Elise Stefanik. Of course, she's a woman. It's a Republican, Elise Stefanik. We took a beating inside the suburban areas. We're going to have to work harder. I think our message is going to have to be clearer. Our ideas are going to have to be stronger. We realize that, and we will work towards that effort. Michael Bloomberg spent more than $100 million. Over the top, more than 150 more. He focused on women who were Republican. And unfortunately, a lot of races became close. I just watched Mimi Walters fall behind. Let's hope that that picks back up. The millions of dollars is spent against her. I think that is wrong that someone picked upon gender. I'm proud of the history. No, he picked against Republicans, but he spent a great deal amount of money against Republican women. The $3 million that he spent on top of Karen Handel, the race that became very close that she lost. The money that he put into California. No, I think that's a contributing factor. You look at Mia Love and others. I think we have an opportunity to rebuild. I'm proud of the history of the Republican Party. I'm proud of the history of the Republican Party, what's it built on. The very first Republican president was Abraham Lincoln. I think we stick to our principles, stick to our goals. You'll see this party continue to grow and be the majority that represents all of America. In gender, in faith, reality, we have a room cut out for us, and watch us in 2 years. We'll be back.
Thank you. Here. Good job.
Thank you. Is it? I feel like bushwalking.